Hey, welcome everybody to this week's installment of video notes for Mr. Flugum's physical science class. We're going to be talking about atomic structure and atomic mass of atoms. Alright, now these notes will go on page 27 in your science notebooks. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, well let's get started. Let's just talk about atom basics, you guys. That's really the big theme in this one is what is an atom? So you can see there the definition, right? Okay. And a couple of questions just to build on it is there matter that's smaller than atoms? In other words, can we split an atom apart? Well, the answer to that is yes. What particles are smaller than atoms? There's lots of them, but there's three basic ones we're going to talk about today. Alright, let's get going along here. So we kind of are going to talk about this in class on Wednesday, right? Electron cloud model. So that's our current model, right? Okay, so you have a nucleus, right? That's really, really small compared to the rest of the atom, okay? And it contains basically all of the atom's mass, okay? And then around it you have electron cloud. So the electron cloud is like this area where electrons kind of hang out and buzz around and appear in random places and all kinds of stuff. So if we're going to draw an electron cloud model, all right, we basically kind of do this, right? We got in the middle, okay, we got the nucleus, there it is, and around it, we've got the electron cloud. Sorry about my writing there. It was hard to write that small with my finger, I guess. But let's get moving on here, you guys. Remember, you got the nucleus in the middle, okay? And that has all the mass, and the electron cloud surrounding it, where the electrons hang out. So you may be familiar with this from your previous science classes, right? Atomic particles really are subatomic particles, right? That means they're below or smaller than an atom. Okay, you got protons, neutrons, and electrons. Okay, protons are positive, neutrons no charge, and electrons are negatively charged. Okay, protons and neutrons are in the nucleus, right? Okay, electrons, of course, you find them in the electron cloud. Okay, now this might be something new to you. How do you measure the mass of an atom? Well, we measure it in something called an AMU. It's an atomic mass unit. Okay, atoms are so small we can't really measure them in grams or any kind of measurement that we're really familiar with or can conceive. So we came up with its own unit, an AMU. All right, so they measure the mass of atoms. Now the mass of atoms is contained all in the nucleus, which is where the protons and neutrons are. Both protons and neutrons basically have an equal amount of mass. Okay, both of them are equal to 1 AMU. So, if I want to find the mass of an atom is the protons plus the neutrons, and I just add them up. And you always end up with a whole number, right? So if I have, let's say, 6 protons and 7 neutrons, I have a mass of 13. Okay. Now, generally speaking, we don't really have masses of individual atoms that are not whole numbers, because you can't really have like half a neutron or half a proton in an atom. So you might be asking yourself, what about electrons? They have mass, but here's the deal, folks. All right, they are about 10,000 times smaller than a proton or a neutron. So while electrons have mass, if it's something that small, does it matter to the mass? It's kind of like this. It's kind of like taking a pebble, right, and putting it in the back of a dump truck, a huge dump truck. Does it add mass to the dump truck? Of course it does. Is that mass significant or even measurable? Not really. So even though electrons have mass, we don't count them when we're calculating the mass of an atom because it's so small. Alright, so to wrap this all up, here's what you need to know. Alright, you need to know what the current atomic model is, right? That's the electron cloud model. You need to know the charges of the 3 particles and where they're located. You need to understand what AMU stands for, all right? And you need to know the mass of protons and neutrons. And then you need to understand that only protons and neutrons make up the mass of an atom, right? Electrons don't, because they're so small. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks, and I hope you have a great night. We'll see you on Friday.